This is Trophy the Scoundrel's Quarter, Part 33. We had ended Part 32 with the beginning of a Trophy Dark incursion, Mother. We are going to do that incursion today, but because we don't have Rob, we are going to just do like a clean start. So you can just ignore the last little 10 minutes or so of the previous session, and we're going to reintroduce the characters and begin Ring 1 anew. And so if you are here just to see the Mother incursion, then you're good to go. You have a clean intro into it. So why don't we start with doing character introductions? Now, I remember from last time that these treasure hunters they're like a circus or like mummers or something, right? Is that the idea? Um, let's meet them again. I'm going to go in reverse order. So Ben, tell us about Proclus.
Proclus is the troop's champion. He has the background of a grounded sailor, which gives him the skills of commands, ferocity, presence, and ropes. And he uses that to as the strong man of the group. His drive is to become part of the swirling court, and he has the rituals yoke to apply a strength of a spectral bull to a situation, and fault to strike the weakest point of an object with phantasmal force.
Fantastic. We have our strong man. Let's go to Jack and Talia.
Talia, pronouns she, her. She is a magician by occupation, but her background is a banished dancer. So her skills are in performance, rituals, trickery, and grace. Her drive is also to become part of the Swirling Court, and she's starting with the rituals Blink, Fantasy, and Mirror. You are muted.
I said fantastic. I don't think I've ever had fantasy in a game, so that's pretty exciting. Let's go over to Amanda and Alicio.
I'll be playing Eliseo, pronouns he, him. He is a ranger with skills in beasts, hunting, and traps. He's also got a background of emboldened rat catcher, which makes me skilled in lairs. My drive is to become part of the swirling court, and my rituals are compel, which is force a creature to perform a non-lethal task or free a creature from a prior compel. I also have bind, which is hold a creature in place for as long as you stay motionless, and beast, take a form halfway between human and animal.
Fantastic. Strongman, magician, and beast tamer from the circus are going down a hole. I really like that you all have the same drive. I think that's really intriguing, and I want to explore what your characters think the swirling court means. Like, what is it? What does it mean? Do you all know that you all share that drive? Or are you all like individually seeking this and not telling the others? I don't know, but we're gonna figure it out as we play. I'm not going to do any other Trophy Dark introduction stuff because we all know how to play Trophy Dark. And so we're going to just begin with our incursion, Mother. If you ask any experienced treasure hunter to name the most terrifying thing in the forest, there is always one location that comes up more often than not. It goes by many names: the fall, the well, the quarry. Despite its many names, it's always described the same way. The ground ahead of me had a slight decline, the descent eventually opening up to a massive hole as wide across as 10 score men lying foot to head. I got closer to see what might be down there. Every step forward filled me with vertigo, that I might fall in at any minute. I couldn't see the bottom, but I heard it. 1,000 hammers tapping against 1,000 chisels. Blink, blink, blink. And here the stories diverge. Some say there are miners down there looking for gold, silver, or precious gems. Others say it's sculptors crafting idols and rare artifacts for their chthonic gods. Whatever it is down there hasn't seen the light of day for hundreds or thousands of years. Anything brought back would surely be a unique trophy capable of fetching a sizable sum. Oddly, the precise location of this vast opening never seems to be identified in the same place. Some say it is only a few miles off the south bank of the Nave River, while others place it well to the north, nestled in the depths of the forest. These conflicting reports can almost certainly be attributed to the disorientation nearly all treasure hunters suffer after time spent in the forest. It is ring one, and these treasure hunters have found it. They have arrived at the quarry. Indeed, it is just a vast opening in the earth. You cannot see to the bottom of it, even with the midday sun shining overhead. Granted, the sun is just barely peering through the tree covers, but you can't see to the bottom. And if you throw something down, that old trick, there's no report heard. This pit is incredibly deep. If you fall here, there's probably no coming back from it. We actually start with all of you strapped into your harnesses, rope in hand, rappelling down the face of this vast opening. Horizontal veins chase around the wall, indicating the layers and layers of history that have built up in this land. Most of the veins are some shade of brown or gray, except for one, which is a blood-red clay. I'd like to know your order down the rope, and then let's just have the scene.
Even if you wouldn't go first, Proclus, Alicia would make you go first.
Yeah, I think I was thinking he'd either be holding the rope and then trying to figure out how to get down, or he'd be going first, yeah.
It's interesting that you would leave the strong man. You wouldn't leave the strong man up top while the others went first, but maybe I don't
We're
know anything
all
about
very
rappelling.
capable.
So Proclus is into the breach first. Then Talia, where are you going?
Um, I think knowing that Proculus is stronger, she would have hoped that he would have stayed up top. So I think she would have volunteered to go down first.
Hmm.
So I
Well,
don't know
then
if
we'll go
there's a.
together. On my back.
Well, I know that you have enough back to share, but I really do prefer to dance down my own.
As long as somebody points out the footholds to me, I don't care who goes first.
Well, perhaps you can summon one of your vermin that can scout the area ahead.
I suppose I could do that. I'm going to try compel. I would like to use compel on, we're in a forest. There's going to be at least a bird around.
Hmm.
And I would like to ask a bird to fly down the pit
Force
to
a
ensure
creature
we have a
to
safe way.
perform a non-lethal task. Okay, or free a creature from a prior compel. I like that very much. I think this is going to be the risk roll, and it sounds like what you're trying to discover is like what is down there, right? Or
I
what
think,
can they
yeah,
find?
the more actually right now, the safe way to traverse down. Because if we can't see down, then we can't
Oh, I
tell how
see.
far, like, where, what the
So
best
maybe
way
like
to
a
rappel down
no, that's
is.
very good. So maybe like a brightly colored bird that you can maybe see in the darkness.
Or it
You
can
know,
fly back up and tell us, because I'm assuming I can communicate somehow, or it'll lead us
maybe.
down once we.
Yeah, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we basically know what's going on. Um, Everyone gets to say what they think could go wrong if this summoning and compel doesn't work correctly. Who has thoughts here?
The bird's a trickster. It's a liar.
Oh, everybody but you, Amanda, because it's your role. I do like the idea of the bird being a trickster or a liar, though. Any other thoughts?
The bird rebels, and it and its, I guess, murder or family will descend on you.
Oh, that's interesting. Like a bunch of other birds maybe like flock to try to like knock you off the rope or like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah.
What if the bird belongs to a different ranger who's following us?
Oh, that's pretty good too. That would actually be a really, really good devil's bargain. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so do you have a skill that will give you your first light die? Beasts, I guess.
Beasts. Yes.
Yeah.
They trust me.
And devil's bargains. I really like Ben's fail condition as a devil's bargain, like that the bird belongs to like some other person who is now who has tracked it to you. Anybody else have any thoughts?
The bird will demand something from you in order to go down. You have to give that to them before they go down there.
What do you think?
I think I like the other ranger idea. I like both of them, but the fact that the bird belongs to someone else is it's juicy.
You have two light dice and one dark die because you're doing a ritual. So roll a risk roll, two light, one dark, and let's see how you do.
5 light. Oh, 5 dark. Dang it.
Five dark. What is your current ruin?
4.
Ah, so your ruin goes up. How interesting. Um, very, very good. So this is good. You're going to succeed, but there is going to be a complication. I think the complication is going to be that the um, the person who tracked you to this, at some point while you're all on the rappel line, that person's going to come up to the lip of the thing and cut you all loose down the hole. If you don't want to deal with that, oh, actually, you already rolled high dark, right? So you can't
Yeah,
add to it. You're stuck, I'm afraid.
cool.
Um, okay, so let's just have the scene. I really want to see what this looks like. I'm particularly interested in like being introduced to Alicio for the first time. Like, what does Alicio look like, and how does Alicio's magic work?
I think we're standing at the edge of this crevice, and he flips his feathery blonde hair with one hand and starts to whistle a little tune like a weird Disney princess, whistling out to the birds. And the bird that comes to him is an iridescent green. The light, the sunlight that manages to make it through the canopy reflects off of its feathers quite brightly. So, do you think we'll be able to see this bird as they fly down quite a bit of the ways? And there's nothing really spectacular seeming about it aside from I think Alicio's very elaborate movement as he speaks to the bird. Bird, I am Alicio. You will do my bidding and fly down into this crevice. And he's very dramatic and flowery about it. Um,
You're
he's
performers. It makes
got
sense.
he's
Yeah.
got like a cape for some reason that he waves around like a bird to show the bird what to do. Um, it doesn't look really good because he's got his harness on, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, and I think the bird flicks back and forth around Elicio's head for a moment, and then just dive bombs into the crevice. And we can watch it as it goes down, down, down,
You get
down.
your answer. It does go down a ways, but it is brightly colored, and so you're able to keep an eye on it pretty well, at least until I mean, assuming it doesn't go so far as to be literally unseeable. It lands on what appears to be a little ledge. That in itself wouldn't be very promising because it's a small bird and it can land on a handhold or whatever, but the color keeps going in and out. So you see it and then you don't see it, and then you see it and then you don't see it. And it's because the bird is going into a little passage and popping back out. So the bird has found uh, a little tunnel passage on this, in this drop. And so that might be the way into the deeper part of whatever's down here. Um, and so it's a good place to start, if nothing else. And so you can set up your rappelling equipment and start going down. Now, I think what I want to know from everybody else is I'd just like to get a good glimpse at the other two characters as well as you get ready to strap in and begin rappelling down. What's happening here?
For Talia, she doesn't take on the harness the same way that the others do. She's experienced in the dance. Visually, we see a very tall, lithe woman Her skin is entirely blue. Whether that's paint or real, we're not entirely sure just yet. But she's covered in head from neck down in this sort of piecey, swirling red organza fabric, and she has plumes of feathers coming out of her headdress, which is also covered in different coins, which are not real, because if they were real, she'd sell them. But we see her just start to descend, and she descends not like someone who is experienced in rock climbing, but she descends as if she's on aerial silks, sort of twirling down almost. And there's almost this, if you looked at her, there's a bird-like quality to her, as if maybe her bones are hollow, the way that she's able to descend and contort in a way that the others can't. And so she just sort of twirls down the hole.
Fantastic. Proclus?
So I think Proclus is he's a big guy. He has he's wearing a sleeveless kind of leather jerkin kind of thing and hose and boots. And he looks at the harness and it's not gonna fit him. He can maybe get an arm through it. So he just leaves it with the rest of their stuff. He is skilled in ropes, so I feel like he's okay with that. He kind of wraps the rope around his waist and just prepares to go down the side, pretty workmanlike.
I love it. And so we decided then that Elisio's going last, correct? Like it's Talia, then Proclus, then Elisio.
I'm
Elise,
waiting until they get down to the ledge because
ah,
if they're going to fall, I want to be able to see what they did before they fell so I don't do the same thing.
indeed. Well, I will point out here, as because I think it's mechanically interesting and worth pointing out, Elisio, that you're already at Ruin 5, which
Sure
means you
am.
are already entitled to do reduction rolls, which means you are, if you betray the group in some way, you get to make a reduction roll to see if they observe your betrayal. But no matter what, your ruin goes back down to 4. And so we'll we'll pick up with that in a moment perhaps, but let's just have some questions as we're going down. First things first, Proclus, well, you said you're a skilled climber, right?
Filled with ropes, I
Skilled
imagine he
with
does rope
ropes.
tricks. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe not necessarily climbing. And so I'll ask you the question, how did you overcome the vertigo that hit you upon seeing the quarry?
I think that the vertigo is a little surprising to him because as a sailor, he's used to scampering up high places, climbing the mast and all that. But whenever he's done that, he can see the bottom. He can see the ship or the sea at worst. Here, it's just darkness, and as he stares down at it, there's a moment where his masculine assuredness kind of fades, and he gets a little pale. But he's just going to lock eyes on Talia's the coins in Talia's hair and just start going down, keeping eyes locked on that.
Talia, as you go down, your shoulder brushes against that clay vein, and it leaves a blood red smear on your shoulder. What legend do people share about the vein of blood red clay among your people?
She recalls that the blood of the earth has these sort of intriguing properties. They can connect you deeper with the earth itself if ingested. Um, of course, on a surface level, she's not ingesting it by just having it touch her skin, but she does, I think, when it brushes up against her arm and streaks over her blue skin, she considers it for a moment. Because even though there have been these legends of ingesting the blood of the earth, there's never been any concrete, pun intended, evidence as to what effect it has. Some legends say that it turns the skin to stone, as hard as stone. Some say that it turns you into stone. Some say that it turns your blood into diamonds and causes you to feel excruciating pain as your blood hardens in your own veins. But she's not feeling that bold yet to investigate what it actually does if she does ingest it.
Let's just keep having the scene as we slowly make our way down the face of the cave wall or the cliff wall, I guess.
I think in a study in contrast, Proculus is a bit more practical, whereas Talia is again sort of swaying a bit back and forth, her legs flailing, her arm, and sort of like using her body to, swirl down the pit. And there's this sort of like this effervescence to her. There's a excitement that she has that maybe the others don't seem to share.
Proclus is gonna tempt fate by looking away from Talia and Alicio, you coming?
I think we see from the perspective of the people in the pit looking up, and you see Alicio's face poke over the entrance, the top. Just make sure you don't kick all of the dirt out of the handholds on my way down, and catch me if I fall. And there's a slight moment as Alicio gets ready to head down. What we see, of course, is I am kicking I'm imagining the top of the rappel ropes are hammered into the ground, like with I don't know what those things are called when people do that in
Pythons.
rock climbing. Pythons, thank you.
Mm.
Um, and I think I'm just sort of kicking at Talia's,
Oh.
loosening it up a
Oh. Oh.
little,
Oh. Oh.
and then I'm going to
Interesting.
start crawling my way down.
Dirty, dirty. Let's make a reduction roll, see if anyone notices.
That is a 3, so it goes unnoticed.
It goes unnoticed. You're all making your way down. We still haven't even met this other character, but that's okay. Slowly, 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 you can see the little bird flitting back and forth on the ledge. You're getting closer, but you're not quite there yet. When Talia, your rope gives out and you're falling, what do you do?
Yeah, I think we see there's that moment where she's sort of fluttering down and she's still on the rope, and there's a expertise to it until finally we cut to Alicio's boot kicking into the pipe, and it shifts, and there's that sudden break for Talia where she loses control. Um, at this height, does she see the bottom?
No.
Yeah, that's a problem. Um, Interesting. So then I think um
I suppose if we lose you, you can be that other character who's going
yeah,
to
I
show
could, yeah,
up.
right.
Well, so how are you going to
That
save
might be a
yourself?
record to lose somebody
Yeah.
in the
Ring one,
forest.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that she does have the skill and grace. So I think that she is going to try her best to just sort of embrace the fall
And hit the
and
ledge.
yeah, hit the ledge.
Yeah, I love it. Okay. Well, I think what's going to go wrong here is pretty straightforward. I'm not sure it needs to be discussed any. You do get your first light die from Grace. Um, Ben, you can make the devil's bargain.
Rope burn. You are going to be at a disadvantage in using your hands
Oh,
if you survive this.
do you take it?
I don't know. She's too delicate right now. I think I'm just gonna go with the one white.
And one dark.
Yeah, that's right.
Can I
Okay.
try and help by maybe grabbing for the rope?
After the roll, yeah, yeah. Once the roll happens, because there's a dark die in it, you can do help if needed.
6 dark.
6 dark. Your ruin goes up to what now?
5.
5. Very good. But it's a clean success. Please describe how you save yourself.
If it's okay, I think that there's that sort of jerking and shifting, and uh, her body sways and slams against the wall of the pit, and she loses control of the rope. She loses grip on it, and I think to maybe reflect the ruin increase, she is separated from the others as she is sort of like this sort of limp doll fluttering down the hole.
As you said you were going to scramble over to the ledge, though, correct? Where the bird is.
Yeah, I can do that. I was hoping to maybe get down
Oh,
to the hole, but I'm fine with the ledge too.
no, the hole has no, there's no reaching the bottom of the hole.
Oh,
There's yeah,
got it.
there's
Yeah, then I will just
there's
get.
just this ledge.
Got
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Um, fantastic. And I think when you get there, you do see that there's a little cave that's tight, but so there's a little passage opening into the side of the cliff face, and still no evidence of how deep the shaft goes. And the little bird is there on the ledge. This is so interesting. Since you made it to the ledge safely first, Talia, I'd like to hear your thoughts at some point in a moment. What you hope will happen if you're able to join the swirling court. Why is it so expensive to join the swirling court? Um, is this a legendary thing, or do you have your own ideas about what it is? Be thinking on the swirling court is what I'm saying. Let's just have the moment, the little aftermath of that scary moment when Talia almost fell.
I think Proclus just freezes on the rope, and his eyes are wide as he looks down, watching Talia's fall, and uh, he's gonna see that she lands, and just you good?
Yeah, Proclus would have seen her just sort of like, again, like a limp doll with no control over her limbs, sort of spinning and falling. But when she lands, it's on all fours, sort of like a spider, and she lurches up, back up, upright, and she looks up at him and sort of just dusts off her large red coat and says, "Oh, it's no bother."
Alicio is staring straight ahead and pretending not to notice at all because he doesn't want anyone to think that he was involved in this. Uh, and then he just lowers himself down gently to the ledge and wipes back his hair.
Well, not
Glad we
quite.
all made it safely.
You're not. You and Proclus are not quite there yet.
Uh,
You're still on your way down. You're about halfway down now. Both of you are too far down to make it back up to the top quickly. Your only options are down to the ledge or down to the bottom of the pit. That is basically it at this point. When the little yellow bird, or I don't remember what color it was, but the little bright colored bird flies rapidly back up past you, up to the mouth of the hole, and there is a man wearing just a simple traveling cloak and leathers, goatee, hair pulled back in a ponytail, and the bird like lands on his finger, and he says, "Well, there you are. And what did you find for me this delightful afternoon in the Caldor? Why, it looks like climbing gear. My goodness." And he leans over and calls to the three of you really, but especially the two of you on the ropes. "Hello then."
Oh, hello.
My goodness. This is quite a big hole you've got here.
Oh yeah, we found it this way.
is this your bird? Charming little thing.
Yes, yes. Let me ask you a question. This looks awfully dangerous what you're doing. And if this is the chasm that I think it is in fact bottomless. What do you hope to find down here?
Probably nothing of interest to you. In fact, you should probably just be on your way. We'll be fine.
Perhaps, perhaps. It's very interesting that there are two of you. I don't think he's seen Talia yet. There are two of you, three sets of climbing ropes. Maybe you have a friend that didn't quite make it?
Oh, no, no, she's fine.
Ah. Well, then she doesn't need this other repelling gear, I suppose, since she's fine.
Oh, you'd be best to leave it where it is, though, in case we need it on our way back up.
Well, I was actually going to leave it because I'm going to use it when I go down to find whatever it is that you're all going down to find.
But I told you there's nothing down here of interest to you.
Oh, well, I can't believe that's true. Why would you undergo something so horribly dangerous for no reward?
Well,
It
rewarding
defies
for
logic, sir.
us. We're geologists, you see.
What's
Oh.
that?
We like rocks, Proclus. We are interested in the rock formations.
Name your favorite rock.
There's a really big
Ray.
one just outside of our normal performance venue.
Performance venue. Interesting.
Yes, we put on what we call rock shows.
You contain multitudes, I see.
Perhaps you should just be on your way, sir.
Perhaps, but perhaps not. I believe that the sisters led me here. They wanted me to find you.
And I believe the sisters don't want you to find us.
I'm very close to the sisters, however. And you are close to rocks.
And yet you want to be closer to the rocks than the sisters?
I believe they led me here through their emissary, points at Bird, and that I am meant to find whatever it is that you are trying to find. And I think I would like to set out on this endeavor with as little competition as possible. And he takes out his knife and he begins sawing away at Proclus's rope. Now, I think I can safely drop the two of you down the hole, get on this third set of climbing equipment, and then contend with your friend once I get down there, or at least come to a new arrangement with them. What are your thoughts?
I would like to use bind to save us, to give us a few moments to think.
Proclus, what is your reaction when you see that he's sawing away at your rope?
Please don't.
No, I'm afraid I have to. Not much to be done about it.
Just gonna start climbing faster.
Very well. So, Eliseo, bind. What does this do? Let's read it. It says, hold a creature in place for as long as you stay motionless. So, fantastic. Well, I think what could go wrong here, I don't want to necessarily imperil Proclus for your die roll, except to say that Proclus will be dealing with a snapped rope and having to save himself. So, yeah. So
Which is kind of what he's got to do
yeah,
right now anyway.
it won't be immediate death, but yeah. Anybody else have any thoughts on what could go wrong here with bind?
It binds the bird, not the man.
Bird just
yeah.
falls.
That's
Just falls
good.
down the hole.
Yeah.
Now you have a vengeful friend.
Fantastic. But still ultimately him cutting the rope, right?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. I'll take any other ideas, but if not, we'll keep going. Do you have a skill that's going to help you here? Traps, I suppose.
Traps, yeah.
And devil's bargains. Everybody can offer a devil's bargain.
The sisters did indeed guide him here.
That's good.
Well.
Funny is that you have to remain motionless in order for this ritual to work.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's the monkey's paw of it, I think.
So I think that no matter what, for as long as you want to hold him there, you have to stay motionless. And so Proculus will have to physically maneuver you through this ring.
For the rest of the ring.
Yeah.
And that's just dangerous. Yeah. Fantastic. Well, and also you have Talia sitting on a 5 ruin as well, waiting for you at the ledge. It's not great.
I'm definitely taking that if you're okay with that, Ben. Having to
Absolutely.
physically maneuver me through the rest of the ring because that's hilarious.
I think if you take that though, you put yourself at the mercy of Proclus's die rolls. So
Yep.
okay, um, fantastic. You've got 2 light and 1 dark. Let's see how it goes.
5 dark again.
5 dark again, and you must stop because dark is high.
Hmm.
You are back up to 5 ruin as well, but give me the magic. What does it look like?
In this case, it is much less theatrical, like embodiment, but more theatrical. I think Eliseo starts to sing actually, and he's not very good, but what he lacks in talent, he makes up for it in gusto. It is very loud and enunciated song, but it's not in standard speech. It is sounds like gibberish, but it is a spell that he knows that normally he would use on an animal that he needs to hold in place for a stunt or something. But in this case, he's aiming it towards the guy that's up there. Not really for any. It's just the first thing that popped into his mind to do to make that guy stop in place. And I think as he is singing this song and the freezing starts to happen where it binds the person into place and binds, he can feel it, the magic coming over himself as well, and realizes what exactly he's done and how he has to manage right now, but he has to be very, very still.
I'm gonna give you the complication since you got a 5. Because you can't move, you can't stop that little bird from flying down, and the little bird like essentially like lands on, like, maybe you have some kind of head wrap or something, but it lands on you and begins pecking at your eye. So you're sitting there while the
Oh,
bird pecks at your eye. And as much as you try to like keep it out by blinking your eye instinctively, it just keeps pecking. And maybe this is a sign that the sisters intended for him to be here. I don't know. But eventually the bird manages to get inside and just pierce the membrane of your eye
oh,
meat.
my aqueous humor.
And there's just a little dribble. And Proclus, you're gonna have to work fast to get back up a little bit to get Eliseo and to get down. But Eliseo, I'm gonna give you a condition that you're blind in one eye. Talia, I'm curious what you're doing during all of this.
So the ledge opens up into a cave mouth, right?
Very small, but there's a tunnel you have to crawl in. Yeah.
Yeah. She is, I think she's impulsive and a bit impatient. And so seeing the others still sort of up there, she can hear like the echoes of their bickering with the man up top, but I think there's too far away where the words, the specifics of it are lost on her. And so I think that she'll just yell up at them and their sort of back and forth chaos. She'll just say, I'll see you on the other side. And she is going to start to crawl into
Hmm.
the little tunnel.
Well, then you are on your own here, Proclus. Proclus, what do you do to get you and Eliseo out of here safely?
I'd also like to do a reduction roll first, though.
Oh, you're gonna betray the group somehow?
I would like to, as I'm squeezing inside, I'm very lithe, very skinny,
Hmm.
but I also have very powerful legs as
Okay.
a dancer. So I would like to try and kick as much dirt in front of the entrance as possible.
Oh, very good. I love it. Make a reduction roll.
5. My current rune is 5, so I guess it does go noticed.
It does get noticed. Proclus, you see Talia kicking the rock to seal up the passage. What do you do?
Why has everyone gone mad? What is going on here? Talia, stop!
Meanwhile,
Talia!
Alicio he just has fluid coming down his dribbling down his cheek as the bird. Sorry, I'm muted. Meanwhile, the bird is just like going ham on Alicio's eyeball, fluid just dribbling down. Alicio unable to react, or the spell will be broken. Exhibiting remarkable control. Proclus, what do you do?
Gonna start trying to climb up to grab Alicio.
This is a risk roll. I think that the way this could go badly is just the weight is too much. You fumble it, you both fall down the hole, and that's it. So and Talia's the winner. So let's let's see if you have any skills that'll help you here.
I do have a skill in ropes.
Okay, I'll take that. And everyone can make a devil's bargain.
No matter what, you develop a fear of heights.
Interesting. I'm gonna say no matter what, the guy up there, once he's freed from the binding, begins like shooting his bow and arrow at you down at the ledge.
I'll go simple with it. I'm just gonna say rope burn. Being able to use your hands.
I think given that his what he was relying on to stay brave has left, I think fear of heights makes sense.
Very well. You have two light, and I think one dark is unavoidable here.
Dark 3. That's the highest.
Oh no! Well. Proclus, Alicio, please narrate your characters plummeting down into the hole. This is the end of your characters. Take it away.
I think Proclus is going to reach Alicio.
Although there is a help option,
Ooh,
Alicio, if you think you can
maybe
help
I think I
somehow.
scream or
can. I
How can
think
you
I
help?
can. I can take a form halfway between human and animal.
Oh, to lighten the load?
Yeah. Something like with bird bones, like
Okay,
Talia
very
was
good.
saying, or something with wings.
Okay, Ben has to, out of character, accept the help, but assuming that he does, roll a help die. Let's see, you need higher than a 3.
And I got a 6.
Very good. You are all fine. That little moment has passed. Please do describe Proclus safely getting down to the ledge.
I think it's pretty there's that moment where he looks down at where Talia was and the camera does that zoom dolly thing where suddenly it's much further away and he grows a little pale again and then he just swallows and starts climbing as fast as he can. Uh, and I think he's going to kind of scoot under Alicio so Alicio can grab his back and he'll just say, "Don't look down, don't look down, don't look down." Is that, oh, your eye? Oh, and just climbing down as fast as possible.
I think there, when he says, "Oh, your eye," that's when I really cannot take it anymore and I end up moving and I swat the bird. Damn bird! And the guy up on the top resumes his cutting, and I could feel suddenly the weight shift where Proclus has a hold of me, and now suddenly I'm bearing the weight. And I think that is when I panic again and do the first thing that comes to mind. I'm thinking about that bird. So I think I turn into half of a bird with wings, and my
You
legs are like
just got this
big
like horrible
clutching
bird
legs.
thing. Yeah, that's great.
And I use my weird clutching legs to grab Proclus, how he had grabbed me, but with my legs. Uh, and it's not very graceful because I am not, hollow boned, at least not half of me, and I have a big weight on me. But I think I managed to bat my wings and land us, albeit slightly painfully, onto the ledge.
Fantastic. You're on the ledge. The passage is not immediately open to you because it's been kind of like sealed up a little bit, but the rocks can be cleared. You can get in there eventually. But Talia is going to be have a big head start on you. And also, you saw Talia betray the group, Proclus, so that may be something you'll have to contend with in a bit. But we'll kind of wrap up the scene with the man at the ledge saying, "Well, you are a tricky bunch, aren't you?"
I don't like that guy.
I told you to mind your own, man.
Yes, yes. Well, good luck getting out.
Can I don't know if I have anything to do. Oh, Proclus, could you use your I think I just gestured to his muscles to destroy this ledge so that it's not as easy for him to follow us once we get through.
Oh, after we
After
get through.
we open the tunnel, of course.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Yeah, I can do
Yes.
that.
So we're going to open the tunnel, go inside, and then you're going to destroy the ledge.
Got
In
it.
that order.
Yes,
You understand?
I do.
Okay.
I love it. We can fast forward through this. The man's not going to torment you anymore, at least not right now. And he may not be able to follow you at all because you're destroying the ledge. Talia, you'll hear this first because you were first in, but once you all sort of get into the tunnel, you can all hear echoing from deep within a rhythmic tapping. Plink, 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 like a hammer on a chisel. As the three of you, in your different times, wedge yourself into this very tight tunnel. I mean, this is like the, you know, the classic movie, The Descent, like really tight tunnels, like you're crawling and having to like drape your body over turns so you can push your way up, right? It's very slow and very scary and very tight. A question for all of you. One of the following things gives you a strange comfort: the steady rhythm, the warmth of the earth, or the tight space. Which is it and why?
Sorry, could you repeat that?
One of the following things gives you a strange comfort. It's either the steady rhythm of the plinking, the warmth of the earth, or the tightness of the space. Which of them is comforting to you and why?
For Talia, it's a steady plinking. It's rhythmic. It reminds her of music, and her body just sort of immediately reacts to it, and she begins to sort of squeeze and slither through the hole to the sort of strange rhythm, trying to match it, trying to let it guide her.
I'm finding comfort in the warmth of the earth. It feels like when you are pressed up against a warm animal, some large animal like a tiger, and you could feel its warmth and heartbeat, and it just feels comforting.
I think it's the tight space or Proclus. It's he can see the top, he can see the bottom. It is safe. He's not going to fall, and it's like being hugged.
Fantastic. we are going to pass through ring 1 just there. When we come back for ring 2, I want to explore your thoughts about the swirling court. And I want to talk about the unusual conditions that Alicio and Talia find themselves developing. Poor Alicio, he's blind in one eye, at least temporarily. But also, Alicio, you have this compulsion quite suddenly. This compulsion to pick away at your face to the rhythm of the plinking, just scratching, scratching, scratching. And maybe you start to think, what will I find down there? You can note that condition on your sheet. And Talia, you start to feel a writhing bulge in your abdomen. Let's take a 10-minute break and we'll come back and do ring 2. Ring 2, the crawl begins. Talia, ahead of the others, you all begin crawling through the pockets in the wall. They don't, unhelpfully, there's not just one, it branches off into different directions. A lot of them lead to dead ends. Doubling back might lead to undiscovered paths. Sometimes you have to get down practically flat to fit through the next passage. Other times you can get on your hands and knees, maybe even like stand up at a low crouch. It's really, really slow going. It's very, very dark. You do have small hand lanterns, but they just create a little tiny nimbus of light in front of you and not much else. Some questions as we sort of push in here. Talia, as the warm, moist cave air collects on your brow and mingles with your sweat, what keeps you going? How do you push through the darkness?
For her, the swirling court is a calling. It is a destiny. She is comes from a long line of dancers like her, daughters of Dwalm. They are bred, literally bred to become members of the court. This sort of almost like festival where there's just nonstop revelry and movement and dancing. There is no peace, there's no downtime. It is always active and kinetic. And so she has a destiny. And even though the discomfort of being in this very tiny space for this long, she knows that if she manages to make her way through this passage and she comes out on the other side, that she will be ensured a lifetime of freedom, of movement, of achieving everything that she is trained for. Uh, but it's hard to overcome that. There's a claustrophobia here. There's a constriction that certainly puts some doubt in her mind, but she shuts it all out as best as she can.
Very interesting indeed. What was it like when you first realized that there's something writhing around in your abdomen?
At first, she just thought it was the movement of the rocks against her skin, against her belly, but then she realized it wasn't coming from outside, it was coming from within. And I think there was even a pause where she stopped and tried to adjust herself to make herself a little bit more comfortable as much as she could here. But that movement, that roiling persisted, and it caught her off guard. Maybe it's just nerves, maybe it's just, and it's weird because she hasn't felt nerves like this in a long time, but it can't be anything more than that. And so I think that she chalks it up to nervousness and keeps going.
Alicio, you can hear this plink, plink, plink coming from deeper within the earth. It is presumably what you're following or trying to reach. The first time you brushed your cheek with your fingernail was when you were brushing away some eye goo, clearing your eye duct. And you just kept going. Plink, 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 plink. Scratch, scratch, scratching at your cheek. What do you think you might be able to unearth beneath your facade?
At first, I don't even notice I'm doing it. It's just happening. And then when I do, at one point, catch myself scratching at my cheek, at my eye, and I pull my hand away and I can see this red liquid. And I don't know if it's from my eye or if it's from these tunnels with the red clay or what. And I can feel my hand. I don't even have control, basically, as it goes back and scratches again and again, and I can feel my fingernails digging in under my skin. I think for a moment, oh, I'm gonna get a scar if I keep doing this. I have to stop. But then I think, no, I know I'm beautiful, but I know my true beauty is under there. Beauty isn't only skin deep, it's also under the skin.
I don't think it's gotten so bad yet that Proclus notices this about you. Presumably, you're ahead of Proclus. But I do want to know, Proclus, since you're in the rear, there's darkness all around. Like I've noted, there's just a little tiny halo of light from your hand lantern. How do you know the darkness is stalking you?
Being a former sailor, Proclus is used to watching the water, seeing movement beneath, and wondering what it could be. And sometimes something dark and large would follow the ship for ages. And he has that feeling again, just something darker than even the shadows behind them, watching, always just out of sight.
Please make a ruin roll.
A three, which
And what's
is
your
what I've
ruin?
got. Already a three.
Okay, so you're good. How are you sort of putting that out of your mind, or at least keeping it together?
I think leaning on his performance skills and his skill in ferocity, he's going to turn and just bare his teeth at the darkness so it gets a message before uh, quickly walking back to Alicia.
Slowly crawling back to Elysium.
Slowly, as quickly, slowly crawling as he can.
Talia, the first order of business here is to safely navigate these twisting, double backing, branching tight corridors to something. This is going to be a risk roll to successfully navigate them. Everyone else gets to say what could go wrong here.
You've been entirely turned around, and you wind up at the ledge that is no longer a ledge.
Oh, and I think that that guy is waiting on you down there. That's pretty good. I think it could be that you just encounter something down there that wants to harm you very badly.
Yeah, I can't think of anything that wasn't either of those.
Let's get dice on the table here. Talia, do you have a skill that will help you?
Um, maybe. I've got Grace. Um,
Grace.
and
And yeah.
I'm thinking, I don't know if I could do this. Um, but if it would help me navigate, so I can use mirror to take on the form of a known creature.
Hmm.
And I know that I've obviously seen snakes before. So I'm
Sure.
wondering if maybe I could mirror my
Oh,
image into that of a snake to more easily navigate.
oh, interesting. Take on the form of a known creature.
Or maybe like a
I
mole with like receptors that are able to sort of,
I like that very good. I like that a lot. I think so then your ritual skill would come into play here then.
yeah.
Um, you have one light die. I think this is really interesting. And I'll open it up to the table for devil's bargains.
Whatever creature you become, whether it helps you or not, uh, you're one of many in here, and you will be taken into this collective.
Um, I think that the transformation, even when you return back to your human form or your Talia form, something stays.
No matter what, the coins that you have in your hair and on your person, something shiny like that remains on your mirror form, uh, and it's very attention getting.
I like attention. So I'll take the attention.
Two light and one dark. Let's see how you do.
6 light and 6 dark.
So six dark is what
Mhm.
holds, and your ruin goes up to five, but it is a clean success. And so tell me, what does this? Well, be thinking about what it looks like. We'll come back to you in a moment. Alicio, you have to do the same roll. Now you two can roll together since you're together currently. One of you can help the other. So you both can decide who's going to do the principal sort of like traversing, navigating roll or whatever it is. How are you going to safely and successfully navigate these tunnels? Decide that between yourselves.
I
I
feel
imagine I'm
like,
first.
and also you have that skill in layers and
Yeah,
hunting, which might be useful.
Yeah, that
probably
makes sense to
probably
me.
pretty useful. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so then you've got one light die. Let's talk about what could go wrong. Whether it's a complication or it's just outright a fail, I think there's just a chance that the two of you get split up because of like a cave in or something.
Yeah. I think that would be probably a bad thing because I think Eliseo is relying on Proclus's strength for everything.
Jack or Ben, any alternative options of what could go wrong here?
No, but I think I have a devil's bargain in mind.
Hmm. Let's hear it.
I think no matter what, some of that, there's like maybe a hidden vein of some of that blood from the mother's earth that somehow seeps into your mouth and you swallow it.
Interesting.
A tweak to that. What if it gets in your eye?
Oh,
That's
that's
even
pretty
better.
interesting.
That's really
Yeah.
good.
Hmm. Intriguing.
And it'd be so easy too because I'm crawling around and I'm picking at my skin and
Just,
I already can't tell if it's blood or if it's clay. So
I kind of love it.
yeah,
I
I'm
don't.
probably gonna take that.
Yeah, go with that. Two light, and you don't have to do dark yet. You can just roll two light for now. See how you do.
That is a 3.
Okay. The failure is going to be that you are split up, and the cave-in actually breaks your leg as well, Alicio. So if you don't want to deal with that, I recommend adding a dark die and trying
I,
again.
I'm going to
Could
add a
I
dark die.
could I
Oh,
assist here?
Not until a dark die gets added to the roll.
yeah.
Oh, right, right.
4 dark.
For dark. Um, you will be able to ultimately safely navigate through the space. I do think that um, I think the problem is going to be that the red clay takes over your vision completely, blinding you completely. And that's going to probably add like a dark die to every roll you do hereafter. So if you don't want to deal with that, you might get assistance from Proclus.
I'll get assistance.
How do you help Proclus?
I think seeing that Alicio seems to be having some trouble with uh, the facial area, I think Proclus would offer to get in front and lead the way. Scoosh past.
Roll a help die.
That's a 2.
Did not help. Alicio, you just stop being useful in this scene because this dripping red liquid clay gets into your eye, gets into that sort of scratch that you've made in your skin, and it begins to just kind of spread like beneath your epidermis. It's going to eventually spread up past your lower eyelid and cover your good eye, and you're going to go you're going to go blind, and you're just kind of, and I don't think Proclus sees any of that yet, but whatever Proclus does, he's probably going to make a ruin roll. But what is going on in your head right now? What's happening? Why have you totally lost the plot on this on this like navigating the tunnels?
I think I'm still picking at that spot. I'm still picking at it, and I'm thinking, I think I've got something. I think I'm almost there. And I put my hand down and I shift myself up onto my elbow so that I can get in there really good. And that's where I get the scoop of the blood red clay. And I do it myself. I don't even know I'm doing it, but I push it in with my finger as I'm digging into my skin, and I can feel it. At first, I think, I found it. I found the thing I'm looking for because I can feel it. And then I start to feel the burning sensation as it spreads through my eyes. I realize that I wasn't completely out of vision, it was just dark. And now it's blood red, and all I can see is like as if a red light, as if I'm staring into a candle, and it's spreading across the rest of my vision. I can feel my face. It feels like it's on fire, as if it's getting inflamed and swollen. And I push back against the ground, trying to flee from whatever it is I might have just encountered. But it's all around me, and I think I'm kicking into Proclus, yelling, "Proclus, my face, my beautiful face!"
What's wrong with you? What is wrong with your face?
Make the ruin roll, please, Proclus.
A 1.
Ever stoic Proclus, keeping it together. Yeah, keep the scene going.
What did you do?
I'd like to do a reduction roll.
Oh yeah, you're entitled to keep doing. Oh well, no, because aren't you already at 4?
I'm at 5.
Oh, what are you gonna do?
I think in my haste and panic and anger, he's not doing anything right away to help me, and he should be. I'm gonna scoop up some of that red stuff and throw it at his face, or in the direction of his face at least.
Oh, but we're rolling to see if Proclus realizes you're doing it on purpose.
Yeah,
Oh, interesting. Um,
mostly because he's not terribly smart. I think it wouldn't work if it was Talia or
go
Talia.
ahead and roll reduction. See how it goes.
4.
Yeah. So Proclus, mud spattering on you. This is all a big problem. And because you're eventually going to safely navigate to where you need to go, but in the moment, the real pain in the ass here is you're having to take your eyes off the darkness. And the darkness is trying its best to snuff your hand lanterns. It's already got Elicio's. You could the light like noticeably decreased as you're like getting this mud off your face and trying to like keep control of the situation. And you can see the tendrils of darkness trying to snuff your hand lantern as well. What do you do?
What? Alicio, stop, stop! We don't have time for. And I think he's just going to try and like curl around Alicio and pin him in place and hopefully keep the hand lantern like between us.
Protected. Yeah, I like
Yeah.
that. We'll come back to this in a moment. There'll probably be a die roll. Talia, the darkness snuffs your hand lantern as well. It doesn't matter right now so much because you're in this form. Maybe it snuffs it right as you go into this form, but you don't need the light to navigate the darkness. What do you turn into?
So she realizes that the light goes out and she thinks to herself her magic. And so she begins to sort of wiggle and writhe in the space until finally her skin starts to become this sort of like faceted mirror. Uh, and then it just leaves this sort of husk. And then finally the sort of panes of glass split and shatter, revealing this long serpent with this frilled nostril apparatus, sort of like a star mole. But whereas most of these snakes that live in these caves who have these sort of apparatuses are dark so that they can kind of camouflage with the scenery, this is like this sort of bright teal blue color and sort of golden bioluminescent head scales that go down the length of her body, making her much more easy to see in the light. But she's just sort of using this sort of frilled nostril thing that she has on her head to sort of use her scent to navigate. She slithers through.
Proclus, the dark lets up like something else got its attention, and you can feel it almost rippling away from you. I mean, it's still dark, but it's not the darkness. Talia, the darkness would ignore you if not for the fact that you have these like shiny, glimmering coins that you sort of, like whatever ambient fungal glow is down there is causing you to be visible, and the darkness wants to snuff you out. So this is going to be a risk roll to avoid being taken by the darkness. Do you have a skill that will help you?
I have trickery, and I think the way that I want to use that is that I want to shed sort of like as a snake, I want to sort of shed my skin
Mm-hmm.
and sort of leave behind some of those the like coin
Nice.
bioluminescent
Yeah.
scales.
Super into that. And uh, I think what could go wrong is just that the darkness just envelops you and you're just gone. But I'll take other ideas. Do you have a skill that's going to help you here? Or trickery, right?
Yes, yeah, the trickery.
You have one light die and Devil's Bargains. Amanda, you can make the offer.
Can you say again how you're using the trickery in this moment?
I'm trying to create sort of a fake me by leaving behind my skin.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, that is a trick. Uh no matter what, your fake you has a mind of its own.
Oh, okay.
Sentient skin. I'm into it.
That's kind of gruesome. I'm super
Yeah, I'm
into it.
into it.
Two light and one dark.
5 light.
Five light. I think the complication is that the darkness sort of takes over the skin, so to speak. And in this case, the skin just becomes, it's able to use this leaving of yours to sort of make itself look like you. And so the other characters are going to be encountering you. If you want to, if you're okay with that, let it ride. But
Oh yeah,
otherwise,
I'm into that.
you're
Yeah.
free and you're free and clear.
Yeah. I'm fine
Um,
with the doppelganger.
that's great. Let's just have the moment between Alicio and Proclus, like as you try to help Alicio get his shit together, Proclus.
Just real quick though,
Yeah.
because I'm at 5 ruin, and I think this might be an interesting way to reduce my ruin.
Okay.
You can let me know if it works or not. But I think that sort of as I get into like a bigger space, I'm able to sort of go from that serpent form back into my own form. And because it sort of has a sentience now and it knows me, it sort of changes back into me.
Yeah.
And so I think that knowing that I'm further ahead, I want to leave behind my large red opera coat and sort of give it to them so that
Oh, to
it
add the reality.
yeah.
Oh, that's really good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's fantastic. Make the reduction roll.
6.
Nice. Well, this is. I have an idea for how this is going to go badly, or how you're going to get noticed. And let's just pick up with. But your ruin does go back down to 4, though. Yeah, let's pick up with Proclus trying to help Alicio get it together.
Like leveraging his skill in commands and presence, he's going to channel the barker that they have at their performance. And Alicio, get it together. It's too tight in here to freak out.
And I think I do. I think I do at least recognize that Proclus is a lot stronger than me, and if I struggle too much, he might accidentally break my arms. So I think I freeze in place, but I still can't really see anything.
Yeah, Alicia, you can't see you can't see Talia crawling back from up ahead from a side tunnel toward the two of you. But Proclus, you see streak of that streak of I guess Talia, is your skin blue or painted blue?
It's actually blue. It's
Oh, it
not
is blue.
painted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This blue and red, very striking in the, even in this low light. You see Talia crawling back toward you. Alicio, you can't see, but you know it's not Talia, either because of the way it sounds or the way, or just something psychic, or I don't know, but you can tell it's not Talia. What do you, but yeah, it appears and it says, "Hey, I found the way up ahead. Follow me."
It's Talia. Let's go.
Proclus, it's not. It's not. The coins. Why couldn't I hear the coins?
Oh,
And
she
that's
must
a,
have dropped them.
you can see the coins and they make no sound. In fact, this Talia makes no sound at all. No sound on the dirt and the gravel, no rustle of cloth. It's just like silence, like just moving in silence toward you.
Proclus, get up here and beat that thing up. I don't know what it is, but it's not Talia.
Also, Talia betrayed you earlier, just as a reminder.
I don't know that.
I beat her up. Talia, you were
It's
mean.
not Talia, Proclus. It's something else.
Oh, oh, good. That means she didn't betray us. And
What?
he's going to start crawling towards us, saying, "You, not Talia. Stay right there.
It does.
Why'd you betray us?"
I have not betrayed you.
You left us.
I have returned.
It's
That's
not
a good point.
Talia Proclus.
You're
Quick,
not
just
Talia.
punch or something. Use your fists.
I'm not gonna. What? Should I punch you?
And the thing smiles and says, I am not her, but I am her agent. She made a deal with the darkness. She wishes to find the heart of the womb first, before you, and she sent me here to lead you astray. She gave me this beautiful cloak as a token of our arrangement. And this thing pulls the cloak. And if you touch her, Proclus, you feel the cloak, but nothing else.
So why are you telling us this?
I'm telling you this because I would like to strike a deal with you instead.
Can you fix my face?
You have
Please, my
been
face.
you have been touched by the crimson vein. I fear there is no helping you. It would be best, the thing says to Proclus, if you go ahead and just put that one out of its misery.
No, I'm not going to do that. We can fix him when we get back.
Yeah, what he said.
And this sort of simulacrum says, will you follow me then?
Proclus is going to turn back to Alicio and realize Alicio can't see that. Should we follow him?
I don't know where else we're gonna go. I can't see anything, and you're, well, not good at this.
Rude.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
if
Okay. We'll
it
follow you.
tries anything, if it does anything weird, you punch, okay?
I'd like
Okay.
for you both to make a ruin roll just encountering this being.
My ruin goes up.
So does mine.
Very well. At the conclusion, well, that concludes ring 2 for the two of you. I want to pick back up with actual Talia, though. Talia, you're moving through. You eventually return to your normal form, minus your cloak. Your eyes are still able to see in the dark a bit, a leftover, a residual thing from your transformation. And there's also just a fair amount of ambient cave light down here from various growths on the wall, phosphorescent growth. And you find in a little opening, a little open space in the tunnel, you find a very well used hammer and the head and part of an arm of an exquisitely carved, life size granite statue of a child. Who does the statue remind you of, and why do you miss them so?
It reminds me of my baby sister. I left them before they were able to finish their own training. I left them with the other dancers. She didn't want me to leave. Obviously, we were very close, but my ambition blinded me to any sort of familial obligation. she looks at it and she, I think, realizes for a moment she's reminded of her own selfishness, but she pushes that down because she's too close to having everything that she's ever wanted. And she'll go back to her sister eventually, but she needs to do this.
As we wrap up Ring 2, we hear the plinking much louder now. And it's the plinking of dozens, possibly hundreds, of hammers on chisels. And from this distance, you can also hear a song, a song like a childhood, like rhyming song being sung by a chorus of children. Mother, mother, we're going to find you, mother, mother, you'll never leave us again. And that will conclude Ring 2, and that will conclude our session for today as well. Let's go to Stars and Wishes.
Well, we kind of kicked off with a bang, didn't we? Um, yeah, no star to uh everyone just sort of going all in to start, no hesitation, everyone just sort of piling it on right out of the gate. Um, I've never ran or played through this incursion. The vibes are really there though, and it's really kind of creepy, and the like correlation between like canals and birthing and like insemination is all very kind of freaky and disturbing, and I'm excited to, as a wish, to excited to see how those themes ramp up and become even more like body horror-y. Um, Proculus, my himbo king. Um, he's just how I like him, big and stupid. Um, but I love the earnestness that you played him with, like the, you know, it's not like a, it's not like a mocking sort of stupidity or anything like that. It's just like it's very earnest and it's very I think it's very there's almost like a sweetness to it, which I think we need between uh Belicio and his pompous ass and Talia, who isn't really like with the two of you now, but is clearly like way too ambitious for her own good. Which is not how I thought I was going to play her, but here we are. Um, when the opportunity presents itself. Um, yeah, no, I love the Devil's Bargains today too. I thought they were all popping. Really loved Jason taking the idea of like making the sort of sentient skin into a doppelganger. And just like the way that you described only her coat having any sort of like tactile effect on the
Substance.
world. Yeah, exactly. I thought that was really creepy. Because yeah, she's just essentially a husk just walking around. Um, yeah, I really dug that. And then yeah, Alicio, just such a douchebag. And I'm excited because I mean that's always the kind of person you want to see get their comeuppance in a way. And he's just getting everything hit on him. And so I'm really curious to see if he actually survives all the way to Ring 5. Because I think he's a prime candidate for an early out. But yeah, I thought it was fun.
Yeah, I've also never played this. I've never read it. I don't know anything about this. I'm going in completely blind, so to speak. And it's real creepy. That little part at the end with the kids and the song. That's nightmarish. I love that. I'm really digging like what Jack said about the canals and all of this mother stuff in the womb, and then the theme is labor, and it didn't really click into my brain until like about halfway through the session about the how those things are related. um Yeah, really, really creepy setting. So stars for that. Um, I love the interaction between Eliseo and Proclus. Proclus being the kind, big-hearted giant, and Eliseo thinking he's so much smarter than Proclus, but he's not. He's just, I don't know, more pompous, I guess. Kind of reminds me a little bit of like Andre the Giant's character in The Princess Bride and Inigo Montoya, but if Inigo Montoya wasn't likable, kind of like that. Um, but I'm really liking this trio we've got going on, and the different types of reactions and the way everybody is sort of playing their characters and how they bounce off of each other. I think it's a lot of fun, and it really kicked off like right away. I knew exactly who everybody was and what their goals were. My wish is to get more into the swirling court stuff to see how that's going to cause. 'Cause I don't know if we all know about each other's goals. I don't think we do, but we've never really figured it out. When we decided to make these characters, we just thought it would be funny if we had the same goal, and that's what we went with. So I'm excited to see how it's all gonna play out. Um, Jason, I have to second the running with the skin doppelganger. I said sentient skin because I love a doppelganger thing. It's always one of my favorite things in like video games or something when you have to fight yourself. Um, and you took it to like next level. I really liked that the immediately even in chat, Jack, you said she sold me out. um, I thought that was pretty great because what else is the darkness gonna do, right? Darkness is not beholden to anyone. So that was great choice all around. Yay.
Also, I've never read or played this uh, incursion, and so I'm definitely enjoying getting to experience it like this. The characters that we are playing with are a lot of fun. I'm kind of thinking that Proclus was definitely influenced by Andre the Giant in The Princess Bride. So, um, good shout there. I'm wondering if Proclus really wants to join the Swirling Court or just knows that everyone else does, and that's why he's here. Um, but yeah, Alicio is a lot of fun to play against. I like the himbo and more serious, probably malevolent energy there. Talia is fascinating, and I'm really looking forward to uh, getting back together and seeing how things go with the whole group. The skin walking on its own was great. Anytime a child sings a creepy nursery rhyming song, it's going to be a good time. And I want to see more of our ranger friend. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with him. Stars for yeah, I like this incursion. It's a simple incursion, like in its presentation, and it's like really straightforward. But I like it a lot. I think it lets trophies mechanics shine really well. So it's very much a sort of like just let trophy do its thing and then kind of get out of the way. It's like it's really good in that way. And we saw that right away because whenever you have characters who hit five ruin like almost immediately, you immediately start engaging like what the game is all about, like from the jump. And so that was really fun. It was very fun that you were just like all immediately betraying each other. Like it seemed like the group like stayed together long enough to get to the mouth of the cave or the mouth of the hole, and then after that it was all bets were off. So I thought that was really terrific. As a wish, I'm also really intrigued to learn more about the Swirling Court, especially from the other two characters who we haven't heard from yet on that. And yeah, I know what's going to happen in the next three rings, and so I'm really curious to see how you all respond to it. This is one of the more like fucked up incursions. Like it has like the themes are like really like uh they're layered on really thick in this one, and it's a very it's kind of like a mean-spirited incursion. Like it has a lot of like meanness to it, especially as you get closer to the end. So I'm very delighted by that. um but yeah, I liked all the characters right away. I like the way you're all playing them. They're very like you want in a trophy dart character. They're immediately very grabby and just like you get right to it, you know. So that was, I thought you all did a good job of like just getting right to what makes these characters special and not wasting any time as far as that goes. So But yeah, I think that's all I got. Just a good time. If there are no other stars and wishes, I think we're good to go for today. So we will wave goodbye to everybody. Goodbye.